Today we are looking at the top 10 most expensive special illustration rare Pokemon cards in the fourth quarter of 2025. I wanted to go ahead and record this top 10 video today before the possible Black Monday, once in a lifetime Black Swan event that everyone thinks is coming on Monday. Is this the top of the Pokemon market? Is everything going to zero? Does Zach's stepsister actually make him lasagna on Tuesdays? In all seriousness guys, I really do want to go ahead and record these prices and discuss what possible outcomes we could have coming. Should we be buying these singles right now? And is the world really going to be ending tomorrow? Just in case the world doesn't end and you want to get your little greedy hands on some Pokemon product, this is where the sponsor of today's video is going to come into play, PokeNotify. This exclusive Discord community alerts you when Pokemon restocks and drops occur by monitoring hundreds of sites 24/7 all across the globe. And today you can join the Discord for free for a 3-day trial and get 25% off of your first month by using the code FACTORY25 at checkout. Stop going in solo against the bots and the scalpers. Take advantage of this great tool and save you a ton of money and avoid the frustration. All links needed is in the description below. At number 10, we have the Charizard EX SIR from Pokemon 151. And this bad boy is coming in at $290.95. So that is our floor for today. That is the cheapest card we will see on this list. 6 months ago, it was sitting at $223.11. And a PSA 10, this thing is coming in at $1,200, almost $1,300 with a population count of 23,116. Obviously, you know, this one's actually a little bit surprising that it's on here just for the simple fact that I feel like a lot of people don't like this card. I do like this card. I'm not a huge Charizard guy. I'll be the first one to tell you that I think the new Charizard in Phantasmal Flames is the best Charizard card I've ever seen, just from my standpoint, just to show you where I'm at. I do like this card. It's 151, you know, it easily should be the top card in that set. It's a little, I don't want to say shocking, but it's a little surprising that it's in the top 10 at this very particular moment. But then again, you know, this thing's probably just going to keep going up. I don't see it getting any cheaper, so you got that going for it too. And it's starting to get up there in age a little bit, I guess, too, technically. So at number 9, we have the Roaring Moon EX SIR from Prismatic Evolutions. This one is the shocker of the top 10 for sure. And I'll get to that here in a second. So it's coming in at $298.62. 6 months ago, it was $301.77. So it's actually, look at that, this huge little dip there. This is around the release of Prismatic. Well, it's actually a little bit after, so surprised to see it that high. I don't remember it being that high. And a PSA 10 is coming in at $1,100 with no population count this far into the year, so that's interesting. The reason why I say this card is a shocker to be in the top 10, just because going in, you know, I don't look at this stuff beforehand. I fully thought that this was going to be a lot more evolutions, and honestly, I'm surprised but happy to say that the top 10 is not all evolutions, and I'm glad a card like this snuck in. Obviously, it's Shinji Kanda. It's one of the, you know, the best artists, the most famous artists, I guess you could say, in the Pokemon card universe. I guess, is that what we call it? Pokemon card universe? I don't know. Either way, you know, I think this is one of the only SIRs. I'm sure there's another one. I can't think of one off the top of my head, but this one is pretty sick, bro. I love this card. I'm glad it's in the top 10, but to me, it is a little bit of a surprise. But just going off the caveat that I thought there would have been an evolution in this spot instead of the Roaring Moon. Okay, if that makes sense. Like, not a slight on this card. This card deserves to be in the top 10. I'm glad it's in the top 10. It's good to see one of the newer Pokemon. I know it's a Salamence, but you know, this is the new style Pokemon. I'm glad to see one of those made it to the top 10. So this one is a really encouraging sign that maybe evolutions aren't the best thing in the world. It's good to see. At number 8, we have the Shiny Charizard EX SIR from Paldean Fates. This bad boy's coming in at $307.45, and 6 months ago, this thing was sitting at $188.74. And a PSA 10 is coming at $873 with a pop count of 13,935. You know, when this card first came out, I remember a lot of people just absolutely hating on this card. Dude, I love this card. Again, I'm not a big Charizard guy. I like this one way more than 151. This is my favorite Charizard from the Scarlet Violet era. I mean, the shiny SIR thing, I think is so cool. I'm so glad they did that. I think it's a really neat, you know, I don't want to say concept, but I guess, little you know, a little thing that they added to this era is the shiny SIRs, and it's obviously you're gonna see in the top 10. A lot of people like them. They didn't like them early on. This is a card that you could have grabbed at one point. I think this was like $100 card, I think. So you could have grabbed this thing for $100 and been up big time. Now, you know, at 307, is this card going to tank back down to $100? I doubt it. I doubt it will. So I don't know if you're ever going to see that price again, but you know, can we see a $200 card one day if this thing, if, you know, right now everything's kind of going crazy. We don't know how the market's going to react. I guess we'll see more. This is going to come out on Sunday. We'll see more tomorrow on Monday. You know, and we're going to have a Black Monday, Black Swan event coming. We'll have to wait and see. But, you know, I think this thing, if you buy it at $300 today and it drops to $200, is it that big of a deal? Probably not, because you could buy it today and instead of it dropping to $200, it could go to $400. So then you're out another $100. So like your swing either way, it's in a pretty good buy zone right now, I think. I mean, this card's phenomenal, honestly. At number 7, we have the Cynthia's Garchomp EX SIR from Destined Rivals. Right now, this bad boy is coming in at $316.99. 6 months ago, which is pretty much at release, it was May 23rd. It was coming in at $600. So obviously it dropped and now it's kind of gonna make its way back up to $600. In a PSA 10, this thing's coming in at $916 with no population count. Again, that's pretty surprising. I haven't pop count on this yet, but still have a pretty high price. I don't know, it's interesting to see. This is my favorite card from Destined Rivals. Obviously the Mewtwo. I don't know if this thing could top the Mewtwo just because the Mewtwo's got so much momentum, but this card is pretty sick. I guess I guess you could have thought too that the Bubble Mew would have topped the Charizard in Paldean Fates, but I mean, it not only topped it, it just blew its doors off. So I guess you could see that, but I don't know. The Mewtwo's a lot higher. You're talking about 100, and what, the Charizard was like 100, and the Mew is like 40. So it's not that big of a, there's a $60 difference. You're talking $200 here. I guess percentage-wise, it's probably similar, but I don't know. I don't see this thing flipping the Mewtwo as much as I would love it to. I love this card. This is one of my favorite cards from the entire era. I think, again, these cards right now, this price, I mean, obviously we just seen a Destined Rivals booster box. I don't know if it's a reprint, restock, whatever. We just got more boxes into the market. It'll be interesting to see how much more Destined Rivals we get with the new block starting. It's always like, you know, which set's going to get from the previous block is going to get the print, you know? Like we seen Lost Origins was the set from Sword and Shield into Scarlet and Violet. It got a huge print. And is this going to be the one, or could it be like Journey Together or something like that? At number 6, we have the Pikachu EX SIR from Surging Sparks. And this bad boy is coming out at $344.96, so it's made a full rebound. 6 months ago, it was set at $348 even. It bottomed at $256, which I think I ended up buying this thing around $270. So did I almost time the freaking bottom of this thing? That'd be kind of lit if I did. PSA 10's coming in at $1,200 with a population count. This is actually pretty interesting. I didn't realize the pop count was this low on this card. 6,419. That's low for a modern Pokemon card. After seeing the pop count on this, kind of makes sense why this rebounded the way it did. This should have never been a $290 or was it $250 card. Should have never been a $250 card for sure. I mean, you know, whatever you want to say, it's the OnlyFans Pika, the butthole Pika. However you want to sexualize this card, I love it. This is one of my favorite cards. This is one of my favorite Pikachu cards. I loved it since the day I pulled it in person. I was a huge skeptic at first, like just seeing pictures of it, and then once we pulled it, and we pulled multiple of them, I was like, nah, dude, this card is sick. I love the rainbow border, you know, the Lisa Frank. I know everybody, Lisa Ann borders. I know everybody, you know, not a big fan of it. I love it, dude. This card looks phenomenal. I just expect this card to keep going. Are we going to see another drop? Is this thing going to plummet back down to 250? I mean, we just had the largest Surging Sparks reprint we've had since release. So are they going to do that again? I doubt it. We're going to get more. I'm sure we will. Or are we going to see that big of a reprint? I doubt it. I don't know if this card drops back down. I mean, again, this is another card where it's like, you could lose 100 or it could blow up 100 and you're going to lose 100 either way, you know, if you don't buy it or bought it now. So it's like, and that's a similar thing with a lot of these cards. We're just going to have to wait and see. But I think at this point, these top 10s of the special illustration rares, I mean, they're all in pretty good buy zones. At number 5, we have the Greninja EX SIR from Twilight Masquerade. Favorite little frog ninjas coming at $366.18. It's made a full rebound as well, because 6 months ago it stood at $362.58. So this thing again bottomed out $265-ish, so I'm sure it's probably being sold for $250. That's crazy. And a PSA 10 is coming in at $1,100 with a population count, again, very similar to the Pikachu, 7,629. Anything under 10,000 on a modern card, to me, is pretty low for what we're, think about all the cards that's getting pulled, think about all the cards, all the packs that are getting ripped, and that the fact that there's only 7,629 of these in a 10 is crazy. I mean, think about it. There's probably, right now, I'm recording this, it's 3 o'clock Eastern on a Sunday. How many packs of Twilight Masquerade do you think's been ripped on the internet today? Probably over 8,000 at least. And I don't know, it's just something to think about. It kind of makes sense why this Pikachu and this Greninja rebounded. Again, Greninja, one of my favorite Pokemon, one of my favorite cards. So glad we pulled this bad boy. This is one I didn't have to buy. I've pulled it. I pulled it for people as well. So it's always good where you can pull it for yourself and also pull it for others. So that makes it a lot, makes my job a lot easier, I guess. Jesus Christ, I can't talk. Obviously, we have the Greninja, the Mega Greninja set coming up. I fully expect the Pump and Dumpers to pump this card, along with the other Greninja cards. So, is it a good idea to buy now? Again, I think all these cards are in good buy zones. Right now, what this is showing me with the Pikachu and these two cards in particular, back to back, the market is validating its superiority in the top 10. Like, it is, the market has said these are top 10 cards with the rebound. You know what I mean? That's like being down in the fourth quarter, down by 7 or something, and you score a touchdown, you win late or something. Like, that's exactly what happened. And then your whole season flips. That's what it feels like, this Greninja and Pikachu. Like, this is just the beginning of these two doing something potentially crazy. So we're just going to have to wait and see. Obviously, you know, I don't think we're getting a Mega Pikachu. That'd be crazy if we got a Mega Pikachu. I don't think you're getting that. But with the Mega Greninja, it's going to give the Pump and Dumpers an opportunity to be like, hey, new Greninja set, let's pump this thing. So, and then it's like, how much will it dump? You know, I don't think it's going to dump back down to 250, right? So we'll have to wait and see. At number 4, we have the Sylveon EX SIR from Prismatic Evolutions. And this bad girl's coming in at $391.41. 6 months ago, it was $502.50. So obviously it's trying to make its way back up to the top, which the two Prismatic cards we've looked at so far have had perfectly similar, you know, movements. Again, I would say this is the announcement of, you know, maybe not the announcement. I guess the announcements were probably back here of all the SAMs and stuff coming. And then this is where it hit. And now it's right here. So it's like all of the reprints are out starting in like September, and it's just been going up. So it's interesting to kind of see that. And a PSA 10 is coming at $1,600. And again, the population count on it, this is actually insane. The population count on this card is 1,906. That is extremely low for a modern Pokemon card. That's crazy. Again, you know, this is another one where the market has just validated this card is for real. We just had the biggest prismatic reprint that we'll probably ever see. It's one of the biggest just reprints in general I've ever seen in the 5 or 6 years I've been in Pokemon. And I'm trying to think of a reprint that was bigger. This has to be the biggest reprint I've ever seen. Between all the Sam's, Costco, Walmart, Target. Like, you had insane amounts of reprints on restocks reprints on Prismatic. And this card held its own. It's starting to make a rebound. Now we'll have to wait and see. You still have another Prismatic product coming out. I'm sure you're going to get more reprints. Pokemon has made it very clear. We are going to make Prismatic Evolutions readily available. So we're going to have to wait and see, but I think for sure this thing has been validated. Is it a for sure lock top 5? It almost feels like it, but I think the Greninja or the Pikachu can move up. Maybe past this. I really do think that. And then it's like, okay, is the Sylveon going to get cheaper? Probably not. We've already had the big dip, so I don't know. This stuff's fascinating to me to try to, you know, look and figure out, even if you're not buying this stuff, even if you're not selling this stuff, just from a collecting standpoint, like, what do I want to do? Is it worth me buying Prismatic and trying to pull this? Hell no. You just buy the card. So you want to try to time the market on these Prismatic cards, which I hate saying time in the market because time in the market always beats time in the market. It's hard to time the market. So it's like you need to find a good spot to buy these cards. And right now feels like a really good spot. I know saying that is kind of crazy with us being on the possible verge of a massive crash. Like, you know, we've seen the crypto market had its largest liquidation in the history of the crypto market. It's like $19 billion in one day. It's the largest liquidation in the history of crypto. We just had that. So it's like, ugh, and the crypto bros love Pokemon. So is that going to carry over? Are they going all the diamond hands, or are they just going to have paper hands and fold and start just having massive sell-offs? Hopefully, that'd be kind of cool if you can catch this thing on a fire sale, but we'll have to wait and see. At number 3, we have the Team Rocket's Mewtwo EX SIR from Destined Rivals. Diddy's Mewtwo is coming in at $531.72. 6 months ago, it was then at $800, so it had quite the fall. Let's see what its first drop and bottom. It dropped all the way to 340. There for a while, it actually was pretty low. Like, is this August period? Is the month of August the worst we've seen in Pokemon in a year? It kind of feels like it. Like, everything in August was pretty low. Like, this, you probably could have got this thing for like $300 if you really tried. And a PSA 10 is coming in at $1,800 with a population count of 3,930. So again, very low. Anything under 10,000 on a modern Pokemon is pretty low. But it also shows you just how low that Sylveon is, because obviously Prismatic's been out a lot longer, and Destined Rivals has not been out that long, and that many tins have come out of there, which is pretty impressive. You know, again, nobody likes the Macy Day Parade Team Rocket's Mewtwo. I love the coloring on this card. I think that the hype, you know, I always say this card reminds me of Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, is where it's like, there was so much hype around that movie. People were putting all these crazy ideals and all this insane stuff that was happening. And it came out and it was just pretty safe. It was a safe movie. It's not a bad movie, but everybody puts it out to be bad because, you know, their expectations were so high. Same thing with this card. The expectations were so high on this. And when they got a Macy Day Diddy Parade card, it was like, no, not really. But this card, again, with the dip, it's validating that this card is for, that is the theme of today's video. The market has validated these cards as top 10 illustration rares. Some of them are top 10 in the entire era. For sure, these cards have been validated. That is what this video is about, validation of the market. At number 2, we have the Shiny Mew EX SIR. And the Bubble Mew is coming in at $642.13. 6 months ago, this bad boy was sitting at $331.72. And again, this is one that dipped. This one dipped in June. It was down all the way. It didn't start going up until July. So this one actually survived the August dip. This was, looks like the cheapest you could have gotten the past 6 months was about $290. So you probably could have got it around $260 or so. I just want to see 12 months just because this is probably the biggest mover in the Scarlet Violet era, right? Yeah, this thing was $95 a year ago, and if we go, I'm not a pro, so, you know, whatever, shoot me. If you go back even further, this card was a $40 to $50 card. So this thing's got like lovebirds written all over it. Talk about validation. This thing was super validated. I think, you know, this is probably the most universal card that everyone said, hey, this card is not priced right. This is not a $40 card. Is it a $660 card? I don't know. I don't know if that's true. It's definitely not a $40 card. It's not a $100 card. I don't even think it's a $200 card. And the market said, hell no, it's barely even a $300 card. So it kind of looks like, you know, could this thing drop down to 300? I guess possibly. If we had a crash, that's where I would expect it to go. It's about 300 bucks. This is a card where, you know, it's hard to say. I've been saying all these cards are in good buy zones. This card, not that I think that it's going to go down. Obviously it can. But the buy zone has already been passed. You should have been buying this card when it was under $100. You know, that's when you should have been buying this card. Not when it hit $300, $400, $500, $600, $700. You should have been buying this card when it was, you know, 50, 60, 70, 80. That's when the buy zone was. So honestly, if you don't have this card yet, I think it's safe to watch and see what happens. Personally, I think this is a safe one to see what happens. And I say that, I also think, hey, can this thing flip the Umbreon? History says yes, because of the Lovebirds. The Lovebirds flipped everything. The Lovebirds, you know, infamously was a $9-10 card at one point that people couldn't give away. And now it is one of the most expensive cards of the modern era Pokemon. Is that what this is on pace to be? It's got, you know what's funny about the Mew is you're seeing a lot of meme cards come in right now in Pokemon, kind of like meme crypto coins. That's why it keeps going back to crypto. It's like, man, it's kind of scary how close it is. And I guess it shows you, you know, 3 months ago I want to said it was a bubble, but now with all the crypto stuff, it's like, is it a bubble? Or do we have bubble feelings around stuff? Like some things I don't think of, like booster boxes I don't think is a bubble, but like, are these singles bubbles? It could be on some of them. Like this one, this is probably the hardest one to try to validate. Because we knew it wasn't a $40 card. We knew it wasn't a $100 card. I didn't expect it to be a $600 card. So now it's like, okay, is this thing a $660 card? I don't think so, personally. But at the same time, it's like Paldean Fates isn't getting a lot of freaking reprints these days. And it hasn't been printed a lot in general, which is another reason why people should have been buying this. Paldean Fates was the in my personal opinion, it was the easiest thing from the Scarlet and Violet era besides 151. That was a sure thing. These cards, this is super underpriced. Anyway, sorry. People who've been here a while know that I've been ranting about Paldean Fates since the day it came out. This card, I think the likelihood of it flipping Umbreon is low, but I guess it is a chance. It does have a chance, I guess. I think it's a low chance. And the #1 king of the Scarlet and Violet era is the Umbreon EX SIR from Prismatic Evolutions. And the Umbreon that was supposed to go to 0 is coming in at $1,100, almost $1,200 right now. And 6 months ago, it is down. It was coming in at $1,450 6 months ago. And again, let's see here. This has got to be when the Prismatic stuff started getting announced to be printed and everything, because again, this thing was down as low $841. I think, you know, I'm sure this thing was probably being sold for $800. Oh yeah, for sure, being sold for $800. My dog's barking. I think the people are here to cut my grass. Sorry. And a PSA 10 is coming. That's crazy. And a PSA Mater, seriously. And a PSA 10 is coming in at $4,000 with a population count of 3,120. Again, under 10,000, under 5,000 is extremely low for modern Pokemon, and it shows you that the market again validated this card. With today's theme being validation, this one I think the possibility of this card getting flipped, like I was talking about in the Mew, that door has been closed even more now. After we've seen the dip, the largest reprint I've ever seen in 5-6 years of collecting Pokemon cards, and this thing dropped down to about $800. And now is making its way back up to $1,200-1,300. Will it just keep going? I don't know. Was the buy zone $800? I think so. I said this months ago when this card first came out. Anything under $1,000, you need to buy this card right now. Even if this thing dips to $500, anything under $1,000, you should buy this card and not think twice about it. Obviously, we're back up. Is this thing ever going to see below $1,000? Of course it can. Again, we're right on the cusp of what could possibly be this black swan event where everything goes to 0. Who knows what's going to happen? Umbreon, I think, has, again, the market has validated this is the top card of this era. Umbreon is the most popular Pokemon of this modern era, and I don't think it's going to be changing anytime soon. I don't see a Pokemon on the horizon that can flip that. Obviously, you have the Charizard, which, you know, you can say, I think it's safe to say that the Umbreon has flipped Charizard in the past 2 eras, at least, for the most popular Pokemon. Is Charizard going to swing back around in this next Mega era? It really looks like it, because I don't think we're going to see an Umbreon card. Which, also, again, if we don't see an Umbreon card in this Mega Evolution block, does this thing go even more crazy? Because, you know, people, any excuse for cards to go up, people will find them, and that is an excuse if we don't see an Umbreon card in the Mega block. Like I said, it's possible to be flipped, but that door was shut a little bit closer in the past couple weeks. Again, with the theme of today's video, validation. by the market. That's gonna do it for today's video, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate all the love and support. I was super happy to go ahead and do this video. I haven't done a video. I didn't do a video last week. I'm not gonna do a video next week because we got some stuff. We're celebrating our anniversary and stuff. So shout out to me and Shop. Happy 5 years, honey. I love you. And you guys, make sure you check out PokeNotify. Try to get your hands on some of these products. We got a bunch of new stuff coming, and I super recommend, you know, try to take advantage of any opportunity or tool that you have, and PokeNotify is one of those tools. Also, join in my personal Discord where we just have a good time. I do my drops there. We have a good time there. I got a fantasy football league in there. We play video games in there. We got a voice chat and all that. And of course, we always are talking this going up, this is going down, what to buy, what not to buy. This is what we think. And the memes are great in there. We have a great time. The Discord is my biggest, that's the thing I'm most proud of that I've done on YouTube and just been on social media in general, is my Discord. Love you guys. If you want to join today, the link for that is down in the description. Thank you guys so much. I'll see you guys in the next one. Poke Factory out. Peace.